Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. How's it going? I'm making one more video here tonight. Today is Sunday evening. So I hopefully I haven't mentioned this already in another video too much. Maybe a little bit here and there. It was a while back. There's a lot of websites and a lot of articles about this very subject I'm talking about. It's basically called this video is called 50 foods that are cheap, healthy, and tasty. But I'm gonna try to talk a little bit how I prepare these guys, some of them to make them taste better. And there's a lot of things about this video I think that you guys can get a lot out of, whether you're just a student on a budget, or whether you're a single mom, limited budget, or just not making a whole lot of money, or you're making more money but you just want to save on your grocery bill. There's some things in here I think that everybody can use. So again, these are just 50 foods that are cheap, healthy, and hopefully tasty, depending on what you like. Okay, so let's jump right into this here. The first one, and I'm going to approach them by what type of food they are. So we're going to start out with the good stuff. I know usually sometimes the idea of dessert, you need to wait till after. Now let's start out with fruit and meat, right? Let's start out with the good stuff. Okay, we're gonna get right to apples. So I know this is now we're getting into the fall season, so we get a lot of apples out there. We get a lot of different kinds of apples. Believe me, the more expensive ones, if you can afford them, the Honey Crisps, they're just great. Oh, Honey Crisps, oh, just awesome. But any apple you buy, I mean, most apples are going to be good, really good. Just if you can, don't get the Red Deliciouses unless you really want that red color. There's so many other apples that just fine to buy. You could, and to tell you the truth, I actually agree with Dr. Furman in regards to fruits and vegetables. If you wash them, if they're not organic, if you're buying fruits and vegetables, they're going to be great for you. If you can get the organics, great. That's probably the way to go. But apples they're pretty cheap. You can get quite a few of them if you're going shopping every week, right? Say you're it all depends. Everybody's a little different, but apples. I grew up with apples and oranges and bananas, right? But yeah, you can get a dozen apples or more, for cheap. Even some of the somewhat tastier ones. But yeah, I know that there's the premium ones like Honeycrisp and stuff. So definitely you want to be getting some apples. I know I'm referring more to people. I know that this is coming more from like a temperate zone kind of thing, so Europe and United States. But apples, if you like them, they should be on your shopping list. So good for you. So good for you. Oranges, just slightly more expensive than apples. Sometimes less expensive if you're getting the pricier apples. I just tend to be picky about the quality of apples, the quality of oranges that I get. I like Nabels. Florida Navel is one of my favorites. Pretty consistently good. Valencia's great too. Just try to, get a feel for, try to feel, how juicy they are, by holding them. There's kind of a whole art and science behind that, but just see if you can smell the orange a little bit, see how firm it is. If it just yields very, very, very slightly, but it's really firm and a little bit heavier, it's going to have a lot of water, it's going to have a lot of juice, it's going to be a better orange. If it smells good, it smells fresh. If it's kind of big and doesn't smell like anything, and it's really just kind of dry looking, it's going to be overripe, or it's not going to be very good. Chances are. Okay, so oranges. Great choice. Apples and oranges, absolutely. Bananas, that's a no-brainer. I know they're not as expensive, they're not as maybe nutritious as far as potassium as compared to sweet potatoes, but you want to get some bananas. They're great for you still. The more active you are, the more you should be having some of these guys, more oranges and bananas. But bananas definitely very, very cheap. Go for the green, yellow in between so they can ripen. You don't want to get something that's totally yellow and then just goes bad on you really quick, of course. Grapefruit, yeah, definitely good. A few of these guys for families. Just depends. I know probably kids aren't as crazy about grapefruit as adults. in general. Yeah, I mean, definitely include some grapefruit off and on. Grapes. I think that you might think, oh, grapes are more expensive. Well, if you get green grapes, if you get grapes on sale, um, grapes aren't too bad, and they can provide a little bit of variety, and they're kind of sweeter, which is nice. And they're great for school lunches and stuff. Absolutely. I just So pears, I think, along with apples, I like Bartlett pears. They just tend to kind of brown a little quicker, but they're a little sweeter, a little softer. So I think, especially for anybody with any tooth issues, in terms of hard foods, pears would be the option over apples. Perhaps if you are worried about anything happening to your teeth and you bite into, harder produce. But yeah, I love pears. I can be a little choosier with them. Not too expensive. Watermelon, if especially for families, just cut open that thing. I know watermelon's more of a summer thing maybe, but watermelon's always a great choice if you have room in the fridge, or other melons. But I think the other melons don't really compare with watermelon, in my opinion. Nectarines, absolutely, or peaches if you don't mind the skin. But yeah, they're not too expensive either. They're sweeter. You can get a fair amount of fruit for what you pay. Um, Berries in season. Now I know everybody's saying when you say the word berries, people say, "Oh, expensive," right? Uh, well, okay, yeah, there are berries that are more expensive a lot of times, especially maybe raspberries or blackberries. But blueberries in season aren't as bad. If you can ever afford raspberries or I'll say Northwest. Basically, if you can afford the red berries, like strawberries and raspberries, see if you can get them when you can get them. But blueberries should be a little bit cheaper than those guys. At least strawberries and blueberries are pretty similar. But frozen berries should be pretty cheap as well. And you can use those in a blender. You can let them thaw in the fridge a little bit to get some of the ice out. The thing is, if you buy frozen berries and you put them in the fridge, you need to use them like quick. So if you're not going to use them for a bit, yeah, stick them in the fridge, and then. But frozen berries are pretty versatile. They're not as good as the fresh type, but the alternative would be canned berries, and canned berries can be more expensive, depending. Yeah, at least they're tasty still, but yeah. So try to include some berries in your diet. Berries are actually something that you should be eating some more of. They're really healthy for you. So strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, and then cranberries, that sort of thing. Maybe some other types as well. But so yes, they can be more expensive. So just buy the fresh stuff in season, especially when it's on sale, and then off season frozen is a good choice to get some of those extra nutrients in that you need. Antioxidants. Kiwi fruit, I'm not the biggest fan of. I like the taste, I don't like to prepare it, but they are a little bit cheaper. What you should do for kiwi fruit is you need to actually get the spoon in there, cut it in half, and then put the spoon in, and then spoon out the kiwi fruit, and then it'll work better that way instead of having to shave off all the hair and all the skin using a little peeler. I hate that. So, okay. Plums are also shouldn't be too. They're about expensive with. They're with nectarines. Again, it's one of those things here and there. Try to get a little bit of plums. Pineapples should be not as expensive either, and sweeter, more filling. But yeah. So a little bit goes a long way. Lemons and limes for flavor or for seasoning vegetables and cooking vegetables. It's great to use lemons and limes for cooking vegetables. Okay, now we're getting into meat now and other such things. So I think eggs, whether or not you get organic or regular types. I know a lot of people are very critical of eggs, and I know that getting organic and grass-fed and wild caught and all the higher quality meat makes more of a difference. I think with when you're getting the animal foods because you get conventional stuff, and you're gonna get all some of the hormones and all that other stuff that maybe you don't want to get. But it depends on how much you eat. Depends on how much you eat this stuff. So speaking to single folks out there, I think a lot of single folks might be able to afford some organic stuff a little easier than families regarding the eggs, fish, poultry, meat. Yeah. But you could. One a good option is going kind of a half and half thing, or trying a little bit of both. That way you can save a little bit of money, yet still have some of the nutrient, or some of the advantages of having some more of the higher quality stuff. But it just all depends. Everybody's a little different. Eggs again are probably one of the cheapest kinds of protein that you can animal protein that you can eat. But really, we should all be having less animal protein as it is. So I still include eggs on here, and if you can afford them, organic eggs. They usually run about $4 to $5 in the United States for 12 eggs, and for me, I go through a dozen eggs probably, at least a dozen eggs probably every month, maybe sometimes a month and a half. So I mean I have eggs. Essentially, that's probably what's the equivalent? That's equivalent of about. I guess it'd be. Yeah, like less than an egg a day for me. I just have eggs in spurts. I have like 2 or 3 eggs, and I go for a few days or half a week or a week even before I have any more eggs. I don't have them as often. I didn't mention cereal in here, but cereal is a great option when we get to the grains for saving some money, of course, and more healthier cereals, of course. So for breakfast, these kinds of things. Also, chicken, definitely. Chicken should be on the shopping list. And again, try to go for maybe a mix of conventional and organic for families, and if you can afford just organic, awesome. But yeah, again, it has to do with what they put in that stuff. Anyway, but I know that organic stuff can get a little bit pricier when it comes to this sort of thing. Turkey, same deal. Deli meat, as far as turkey, which is probably a good choice. Same thing with the chicken. It's a decent choice. Now, getting to a little bit of red meat here, pork is always really cheap. It's just not as healthy. So if you have pork, just don't have it a whole lot. But it is cheaper than many other types of meat. With beef, of course, ground beef is always an option. I know that the grass-fed ground beef is still a little bit out of some folks' price range, so definitely, a little bit of ground beef that's conventional is okay here and there, but probably going to have a little less of that sometimes. Or chuck steaks are great if you can make some room in your budget for something a bit more hearty. I know that the canned beef stews and nalli stick chili are great options as well if trying to save some money. Get some beef in there as well. So canned beef. Just try to take it easy on the corned beef, although it's tastier sometimes. Corned beef and anything that's smoked or processed or like those cold cuts are going to be not healthy for you. So I'm not putting this on the list. With maybe you can have some Braunschweiger, anything with vitamin A or pork liver meat because of vitamin A. Although again, it's going to be a little fatty, so try to take it easy on it as well. But it's your organ meats are healthy, but they're just sometimes not. Sometimes they're kind of. For me, I've tried beef liver. It was revolting. So I'm like, no. But yeah, there are cheaper cuts of meat that I think in addition to the chuck and steak. I don't personally go for sirloin. It's still a question how you cook it. And I try to avoid the round steaks unless I know how to cook. I know exactly how to cook them. But those can be cheaper as well. Stews are always a good option for a mix of meat and vegetables and soup broth, that sort of thing. I don't really recommend buying a lot of conventional soups, but you could get the healthier types. They'll say, even though it's slightly more expensive, the healthier soups are the way to go to also stretch a budget meal, a budget thing. But yeah, soups definitely are good, and they're healthy. You don't really, just like Bruce Lee mentioned, you don't need as much protein as you might think. Although it satisfies you, again, you just don't need very much of it. It's just a matter of getting used to that less meat kind of thing, and that's something that I know it's tough, but yeah, stews are a good option to kind of stews with other things mixed in to kind of offset the higher cost of meat, that sort of thing. So as cod and tuna and sardines are some of the healthier fish. or some of the cheaper fish, especially to get it canned. Uh, yeah, canned tuna is a staple, for a lot of folks. For dairy, yogurt and milk, I think are some of the cheaper ones. I don't advocate cheese. I just think cheese is not quite as healthy. Maybe you have the healthier types of dairy are going to be also like meat more expensive. So it's probably a little bit. I don't know if getting grass-fed milk is going to be in your budget, but even some of the milk substitutes like almond milk or coconut milk might be a little bit expensive for some folks. But rice milk, it shouldn't be too bad. Just a question again, how much milk you have. A good option again is to get a gallon of regular milk, and then a little bit of the grass fed or a little bit of the almond, kind of mix it up a little bit, and that way you can get some benefits of both, saving a little bit of money and yeah. So, but definitely get some milk fat cereal. I know oats and rice and quinoa and corn. Oats, rice, quinoa, corn. There's probably a few others I can mention in there, but grains, definitely. Get your grains. They're going to be a little bit cheaper. Try not to get too much gluten or get gluten-free stuff when you can. It's probably a good idea. 100% stone ground whole wheat bread. If the gluten isn't as much of an issue, try to avoid white bread. It's not going to be very good for you. Multigrain pasta is good. Potatoes, definitely. Sweet potatoes, absolutely. A lot of folks just live on potatoes. What you could do, you could actually probably substitute. I'm not kidding. You actually substitute potatoes for top ramen, and you probably spend about the same. Well, maybe a little bit off potatoes, but potatoes have tons of nutrients. Yeah, absolutely. Good source of fuel. A lot of folks just survive on potatoes for their starch. Maybe some other stuff like wheat or something or cereal, but beans and lentils, absolutely. I know it's sometimes not as appetizing, but again, I personally like the white beans, navy beans. They taste pretty good. Navy and pinto. I don't care for the black beans as much, but they're very healthy for you. They're healthy and they're yeah. So a little bit healthier even than some of the other types of beans, but yeah. So you're going on peanuts and peanut butter. Absolutely, this is good for families, especially peanut butter on bread. I know that's just a staple. Sometimes you like to put some jelly on there. I know that's a big thing in England. I guess strawberry jam, all that stuff. I know. Been reading about that stuff. So going on seeds, very good. Sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Now getting into the vegetables here, you have tomatoes and bell peppers, onions and leeks, bok choy, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, celery, cucumbers, peas, green beans, button mushrooms, lettuce, spinach, beets and Swiss chard, and zucchini and squash. If you're not listening, so all these foods, there's more than 50 foods here. At least most of them are going to be definitely on the cheaper end, and some maybe a small number being more medium priced. We'll say something that maybe just not have too much of, but it's nice to have a bit of. And now a lot of families are going to want to have some popsicles or ice cream or whatever. You should be able to fit it in or somewhere, along with water and maybe some apple juice or whatever, that sort of thing. And these are the things to kind of focus in on again. If you're on a budget, I'm mentioning all these things. These are natural foods mostly. I know you're going to want to be tempted to get the processed stuff, or top ramen, or the all I know what kinds of foods a lot of folks will be getting just to save a buck or two. I would just caution you to look at the ingredients list. Look at what you're paying money for, even if it's only 50 cents. A little bit of candy is fine, as you know. I know I'm speaking maybe more to parents in some of my tone of voice, but with the, I be honest, I don't know this from personal experience, but I'm just speaking maybe from my own mom's standpoint, as well as a lot of other folks I talk to about this very subject that are moms. You can feed a family of 4, 5, 6, 7 on potatoes, sweet potatoes, apples, bananas, grapefruit, milk, leafy green vegetables. You can do it and still have a little bit of room for your big stews. Do you have a lot of vegetables and put in a little bit of beef in? You can do it. Um, but yeah, I know this we're okay. So I'll get to how I prepare some of these foods here in a sec. But I know that the salmon and the lamb, buffalo, cashews not going to be as much of an option. So yeah, I know it's a lot of folks have mentioned this too. One of the most frustrating things for me is seeing certain very healthier foods that are just too expensive to buy regularly. Um, or there's other reasons why I think. Well, anyway, sometimes it's who you're living with. Sometimes, like in my case, a landlord who doesn't like the smell of fish, so I have to work with that somehow. So anyway, um, so how I prepare some of these guys to make them taste good, and I think even though Gordon Ramsay, for instance, is always working with expensive foods and stuff, it's a really good idea to see how he prepares certain things like potatoes. So we're gonna kind of skip past the most of the fruit here because it's pretty like more fresh food here. But yeah, like I said, lemons and limes. If you have on low heat, lowest heat, if you're cooking carrots and I don't know. I'm looking more at carrots and maybe zucchini, like yellow squash, carrots, zucchini. Uh, yeah, I could try using a little bit of lemon juice with that stuff. Um, Maybe mixed with water. So it's not like water saute, but put a little bit of lemon in there just for some extra flavor for lime. Kind of jazzes it up a little bit, makes it more zesty, or more of a sweet kind of flavor. Now let's see. You can also, if you have again the means, if you want to kind of really get a really awesome vegetable thing going, you can try using fresh basil if you can, or dried basil or thyme. It's good to add to vegetables. Most of what I'm talking about is going to be more vegetables and meat, I think, here with the preparation stuff. But anyway, I like to hard boil. I've learned how to hard boil eggs so that they're still kind of soft in the middle for the yolk. So you just want to be careful how, for a few eggs, probably just boil them for a little bit over 5 minutes, 5 to 7. It's really great when you can get the yolk when it's still kind of soft, but it's not runny. You're not gonna get salmonella. If you go for 10 minutes, I hate it when you get the little green thing around the yolk. It's anyway. So, yep, hard boiling. If you scramble your eggs. The most important thing, no matter, I know sometimes everybody puts, maybe you crack your eggs and put it in a little container, mix them, or you mix them in the pan. You put a little bit of nonstick spray or whatever. You put a little bit of olive oil or whatever, or almond oil, whatever. Well, canola oil, but whatever you do when you're cooking eggs, try to use a non-stick skillet. Okay, non-stick skillet if you can. If you use a sticking skillet, you really have to make sure that you get the oil or the non-stick thing on there. You don't want the eggs to stick. To get really good quality scrambled eggs, you don't want to be doing anything else except for making those eggs and making eggs, because the moment you let them sit, if they're cooking, they're gonna harden. You're gonna keep flipping it, keep flipping it over, keep evenly cooking it. It's really easy. It's really easy for eggs to get a bit overcooked. That's the secret to making good eggs is being really focused on those eggs, and having it on low heat. That's when it gets going. Right. A little bit of pepper in there, if you can. Yeah, a few other things if you can. Chives, whatever, if you have that, if it's in your budget. Okay, so chicken. I like with chicken. I like cooking in the pan or oven. But here's the thing about cooking chicken, and I know chicken's a good thing to add herbs to, as well. So usually I cook chicken a little bit longer than other meat, you have to make sure you have to make sure that you don't want any pink parts. Um, I mean, I'll cook chicken in a pan, like say 4 or 5 chicken thighs at a time, skinless. I'll cook them for 40 minutes, at least a while. Make those things, But the thing here's what I do. I get dark meat. If you get dark chicken meat, there's you don't have to worry about overcooking it as much. There's a lot more. It's more merciful, right? If you get white chicken meat, you have to be really careful how long you cook that. You have to be watching, evaluating it. Some people, cut through the chicken to see how well it's cooked. For white chicken meat, again, for the same amount of size, and it depends on how thick it is too. But I'll cook chicken breasts, a few of them, on a pan. Try to get boneless, right? I'll do that for a half hours. It just depends on how much there is of it. But yeah, I tend to cook chicken thighs. I go a little longer than maybe I should. I'm very careful not to get salmonella poisoning from chicken that way. But I don't fry chicken. I know fried chicken is a big thing. I know, especially east and south. It's breading and it's high heat. It's not very healthy for you. If you want to just oven bake your chicken, if you're gonna go that route, if you don't want to, but don't deep fry. Just don't eat deep fried stuff. It's not worth it, in my opinion. Even if you get that nice fried taste, My personal opinion. But I've got when you cook meat, I used to cook meat. You get better at kind of gauging how well cooked it is. But that the outside of that meat, chicken or beef, whatever, the outside is going to be always looking more well. It's always going to look like more cooked than it is on the inside. And the thicker that meat is, the more uncooked it's going to be in the middle. So this is something I just kind of have to get better with experience, and there's different cooking times and weights online as well you can look up. So and also always defrost your meat before you're cooking it, whether it's the fridge or microwave. It will help with having everything cook more evenly. Now there is also something I've heard. It's called it's some kind of French thing or some kind of like rotisserie, not rotisserie, but like something that even cooks the meat really evenly that I've heard of. It's worth checking out. I just look up, cook meat evenly. I think it's a French origin thing, and that can help you with having just more of a, really moist, even cooking time. I don't know. You have to look into that more on your own. But I treat turkey pretty similar to chicken, although with turkey it's harder to find turkey. It's especially hard to find turkey that's skinless, that's dark meat, turkey leg. But I'll actually oven roast turkey, generally speaking. It depends on how, if you have a piece of poultry that's rounded and not very flat, it's best to put it in the oven rather than have to go through the ordeal of cooking it in a pan. Definitely. So pork, also kind of good pan stuff. Pork and beef, because of how much I get that stuff or how much of it I cook of it at once, I never have any issues with, at least with beef. I never have any issues with how thoroughly it's cooked. I think if it's a decent cut of meat, you can get it medium, even medium rare sometimes, and you can be just fine. The higher quality the meat, the more you can get into the medium rare side without having to worry about anything. But if you get ground beef or cheaper cuts of meat, medium well is better. But past medium well, I think it just dries it out. Yeah. So but ground beef, you want to make sure it's thoroughly cooked, though, of course. And the way I do ground beef, and I know it's great to cut up the onion. That's a great way of getting some more flavor in there, and add some garlic if you can, garlic powder, salt, or whatever. But I defrost the ground beef. In the pan, as it's cooking, I'm always like, chopping it up a little bit, getting it small enough chunks that it cooks the inside of those chunks. You don't want big chunks when you're cooking ground beef. That's the most important thing. You want to make sure everything is browned. And maybe you want to add a little Worcestershire sauce in there. Sure, you know what? Or it depends on, of course, what you're making ground beef for. If you're making meatballs, now this is where I'm getting a little bit outside of my expertise. But even meatball doesn't have to be really big, unless, well, again, this gets into Italian cooking or maybe European of some sorts. But yeah, meatballs just can be like yay big. Just you could actually try to make the meatball yourself. That's probably a little bit more of a well done way of looking at it, or more of a there's like an art to it, I think. But same thing with pastas and stuff. But you want to make sure at least that your ground beef needs to be thoroughly cooked. Right? So for beginners out there, try to avoid the big meatball. That can be a mistake. Right? Just make sure to thoroughly cook your ground beef. Yeah. And you can form into meatballs if you want after that. I don't know. But okay, so use breading or something like that to make the bigger meatballs. There's a whole thing there too. So like meatloaf, kind of a similar idea. But okay. I know actually meatloaf is another good way to go to make your ground beef stretch a little bit. So you have I recommend getting canned beef stew, Nelly's thick chili. The reason I mentioned Nelly's thick chili is that it's just a little healthier than maybe some of the other types of chilies out there. I also recommend getting some frozen chimichangas or burritos or those little taquitos. And with regard to microwavable food, you do have some better choices, right? I go for the stuff with beans. Beans are healthy. They're healthy, right? A little bit refried beans. Refried beans a little fattier, but refried beans, awesome. Don't worry about anything. It's just fine. If you're mixing in regular beans, right? You're getting other types of protein or whole foods. A little bit of refried beans are just fine, But yeah, your frozen chimichangas or burritos are a great addition. You frozen, in freezer for a little bit more economical stuff. Now, when I make, of course, you can get into Mexican food, making tamales and all that stuff. I know. I'm gonna have to leave that to the experts here. But with fish, the most important thing with fish is I try not to overcook them. Try not to overcook them. You should be careful. You should know what a good. You should know what cod looks like when it's cooked. Right. The thing about fish is the white fish. It's hard to tell sometimes if it's fully cooked. Just feel it. If it feels, kind of really mushy and jelly-like, it's not cooked yet. If it's a little bit firmer, then yeah, it's cooked. It just depends on the question of how firm it is. Right? Okay, so I'm going to wrap this video up here in just a sec. Try to get some salad. Salads are cheaper. Again, I use herbs, fresh herbs with some of my greens. But if you can't use fresh herbs, dried herbs are still okay. Try to get some onions and leeks and shallots or chives, or also green onions, are a great addition with your greens. If you have a garden, again, that's a great way to go to freshen up your greens. Mint sometimes for certain greens. Mint and spinach is an interesting combination, I think. Yeah. Anyway, let me know if you have any thoughts or comments below. At least leave any thoughts and comments below. Catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye.